What's up everybody, trueeevil here, and today I sort of want to talk about how to go about level 35 on the account for Etheria Restart, because everyone is going to hit this either at the very end of today or at the beginning of tomorrow. And this is going to probably hardwall a ton of people if they don't know what to do. And even spending a lot of money isn't going to help you if you just didn't manage your teams correctly. So we need to be smart about this, especially as a light spender like myself. We really need to figure out what is the game plan here. So the reason why level 35 is so hard and is going to hardwall a bunch of people is that we unlock NicoNana, which gives us access to those mythic shells like White Fang and Gigabyte. We're going to unlock Terrormaton Red Modules, and we're going to unlock Doki Doki Red Modules. And the problem with this is all three of these need completely sort of different teams. And, if you hyper infest into one of those units, then it might make it so the other two are basically impossible. And the only real way to get out of this hard wall is possibly waiting a week to get lattices, which we do not want. So let's just be able to do it at the get-go by really figuring out what are the specific things I need, and because of that, which units can overlap. Now, the biggest thing to address when thinking of which two do I want to overlap is which one do you want to farm? Do you want to try to push the hell difficulty first or the NicoNana? And in my opinion, you need to focus NicoNana first because you don't necessarily want hell 1 or 2 shells. You want to start farming at hell 3 because then you unlock the triple matrix effects and you can actually start getting those 12-8 for your matrix effects and actually build modules that you'll use later in the game versus one that you may use only for a day. And this is especially important now with the final modules because they are extremely expensive to level up. So you don't really want to waste resources like that. And because of this, I am focusing first on NicoNana, and I want units to overlap into another one. And based on my roster, I'm going to go Terror after NicoNana. So because of that, I 6-starred my Leanne first, and when I was trying to figure out who I'm going to 6-star next, I was thinking between either Gray and Hellkid, and because I'm going to use Hellkid as my healer in both Terramaton and NicoNana, I went Hellkid. So it may look a little weird because I 6-starred 2 red units, which doesn't make a diverse roster. I'm thinking mainly for that. And then for my third unit, it will be Gray because Gray is going to be used in both Terror and Doki. So, we're sort of going like this and then like this, and we're doing those 2 and 2s. Now, the difficult part for a lot of people is NicoNana is going to require speed, and that's because he takes more damage between the speed disparities. So you're going to probably want a character with, say, speed up. Now, the problem with speed up is there's only 3 characters that do it extremely well, which is Tsukiyomi, which if you have, I highly recommend for NicoNana, Mio, and Lily. And the unfortunate reality is most people aren't going to have those hyper light dark units, and even if they did, they probably had to spend a lot of money with those new packs in the shop, and as a light spender, I'm not going to do that, so I didn't look out on any speed downs. So what I am building is Viper, which is a little bit something that I didn't want to build. I had to build him to farm the GP outposts for red because I didn't have a blue unit, and he makes it so the crits that are guaranteed from that instance get reduced, and then he just counterattacks like crazy and makes it so they don't do any damage. He's really good for that, but for NicoNana, he's pretty much one of the only characters that can inflict speed down and attack down, and I do believe NicoNana crits, so definitely want his passive. Now the problem with Viper is he doesn't do a whole lot of damage, so that is why I upgraded this, because in the prowess tree this is the only thing that gives flat attack. So definitely wanted to upgrade this. Now the problem with this is NicoNana is not going to transition this like need speed down into Terramaton and Doki Doki. So Viper might be the character I reset after this, even though I am going to use him for Aurora and PvP. I just think I might need those lattices to invest into Gray later, because you are going to want Gray to have at least the attack plus 15% from his skill 1 tree by the time you start getting to Terror and Doki. So for me personally, I might do that, but I also haven't used a reset yet, so your resources might be looking a little bit different from mine. Now, also, because I think these three, the fourth unit I'm going to upgrade is the unit that is primarily my Doki Doki unit, which I will also use from Aurora, which is Messiah. And the reason why I'm waiting last to upgrade my Messiah, even though a bunch of people see this in my character guides and they're like, bro, why aren't you leveling him up? I think for Terror, Leanne, and Hellkid just do a significantly better job. And because Doki Doki isn't a giant like damage sponge that you need to rush down and kill, Messiah works a lot better for that, as well as his invulnerability also kind of just works better too. So he is a lot better for that, and I'm going to just like have him on the back burner. Yeah, it would be nice to have him leveled up for PvP, but I believe this game's a marathon, and you don't want to just hyper invest in a character that's not going to help you push and get all the materials you need, and be stuck with this character who, although he's really good, he's not amazing at everything. He's just like, I wouldn't say tier 0 at anything, but he's 0.5 at everything, you know? He's not the best, but he's the third best at pretty much everything. So definitely going to wait for that, and due to that, we have to see like Valerian I'm going to use for Doki Doki, but not necessarily Terror and NicoNana, so not going to invest any more lattices into her. Just want to make sure I have her level 5 so she gets the cool skill. And then Chiaki is going to sort of be like a I need her for Terror, and she's a unit that really just wants to have that skill 3 maxed out as soon as possible, as well as her skill 2 on level 3 as soon as possible. But the problem is she's only good for the Terror, so I'm kind of putting her on the back burner now. That might bite me later on, but my idea is that focus on that and then go to Chiaki. And then I do like Doki Doki a lot for a lot of these things, but I'm going to use her for sure for NicoNana and Terror. But in Doki Doki, if I don't like use lattice investments on her, she might not shine as much as say latticed Chiaki. So in that point, even though I would rather use Doki Doki for Doki Doki, yeah, it kind of makes sense, that I might have to level my Chiaki instead. Not because I don't think she's amazing, but because when we get to that point, I'm thinking those twos and NicoNana and Terror, and then we switch the investment to Terror Doki. And I think because of that, I will probably have to invest in my Chiaki after that. And due to all these, the last person I want to talk about is Kaz, because Kaz is amazing and I love her and I want to 5-star her now, but talking about all those things I did, seeing where things needed to be 6-starred and whatnot, 6-starring in this game costs so much resources that if I'm realistically going to have 4 6-stars by the end of the next 3 days, then I don't think I have any more resources to truly 5-star a character. So she's on the back burner for now, RIP. I wish I didn't say that, but it is what it is. So even though I talked this out and it wasn't really advice as much as explaining my pathway, the 2 idea method is going to be really important, because this is like a triangle where these bosses are just affected by completely different things. So you need a lot of overlap, as well as just showing that you also just need a diverse roster, right? I have 2 characters that can work as sustains with Valerian and Hellkid. I have 4 technical DPSs. I would say one of them is a hybrid with Hellkid, but Leanne, Gray, Messiah is pretty much all I need. And then having Chiaki the Echo and Doki as my speedsters. And just for that CC unit, I have Kaz for Doki. And then, because we do need that speed down, I have Viper. It would have worked a lot better, right, if I had Tsukiyomi or something where I could replace that with like Chiaki and Viper and just used another unit. But the problem with gacha games are, not every account is the same, but that's also a fun thing. So even though these aren't ideal teams for everything, I think explaining this just shows like you can do all the content with everything. You just need to have you need to go in with a plan, especially with how hard it is. Now, I will mention that I didn't talk about Marvel in any of this, and that is because of this. I don't remember this from the final test. It may have been added, but now what I'm looking at is that turn meter minus effects are reduced by 30%. And even though I did build Leanne, I upgraded her skill 3 all the way, so she's going to have that 21% turn meter still, I believe. And the scary thing with this is if you did build Marvel, Marvel might just not be enough for Terrormaton in nowadays. So because of that, with the nerfs on Marvel and all that whatnot, I think it's better to just use Chiaki the Echo or something like that, just so you're not really getting attacked by the reductions in this, and that you're just going the other way massively. So that's all I have for today. I hope this advice helps you, and if you have any difficulties on level 35, please just post them in the comments, and I'll try to post like a little bit on how to help with a tip. So that's it for today. True Evil over and out.